Shema Hashem v'choneini Shem Ya'izeni Shema Hashem v'choneini Hashem Ya'izeni Shema Hashem v'choneini Shema Hashem v'choneini Hashem Ya'izeni Hashem Ya'izeni Dum bum bum. Did I la 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 did I la 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 did bum 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 did bum 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 did I Okay, so we're dedicating our learning to the safe homecoming of Eyal ben Iris Shura, Gilad Michael ben Bat Galim, and Yaakov Naftali ben Rochel. So, like Michal said, we got through part of 112, and we're going to continue. So the last thing that we were learning was that he told us this. Reb Shlomo told us the story about the Belzer Rebbe, Rabbi Socher Doiva Belz, and this Kabbalist came and told him that there are so many stones in the kotel. So he said, the Rebbe said, no, you're making a mistake. There's one more stone. Go count again. He went and counted again, and he said, no, it's like I said, it's that many, I was right. The Rebbe said, no, I was hoping that you'd be on a higher level, and that you would see that there's one more stone. The Rebbe continued, and he said that there's one special stone through which all the prayers pass through which all the prayers that the kotel pass through. Hi, there's a book here. And only the truly righteous people can see that stone. So then Reb Shlomo went on, and he said that concerning when we covered the face of the Kali at the Bedekim, so he was wishing the Chosn, was blessing the Chosn that he should take his Kali to the Kotel, and I'm going to come. I'll show you that stone, right? And that our children are sitting there by that stone, and then he went and he mentioned Rav Levi Yisrael Berditchev, who said that at the time that the Chosn covers the Kala's face, Aaron, there's another book on this below you over there. Oh, here we have, it's okay, we have. And he said that at the time of the covering of the children, of the Kala's face, the souls of the children are coming to accompany their future mother to the chuppah. Okay. And they're waiting for the Chosin and the Kala to take them to that special place. So then, a bit more than halfway down the page, the line starts with Yitzchak and Tzipora on page 112. Yeah. Are they? So, Yitzchak וציפורה, אנחנו רק בני אדם ולפעמים אנחנו כועסים זה על זה. So we're, as everybody knows, we're just people. Sometimes we forget that we're people and we pretend that we're more than that. But it happens that sometimes we get angry at each other. So he says, לא אכפת לי אם ביום לפעמים תכעסו קצת זה על זו. So I don't really, it's okay if sometimes during the day you get into an argument. אבל אני רוצה שתבטיחו זה לזו שבלילה, בחצות לילה, תלכו לכותל המערבי. But I want you to promise that on a day that you get angry with each other, that at midnight you should go to the kotel. Okay, so he's being metaphorical, partly metaphorical, because he can't always go to the kotel, right? But what he's saying is, I want you to go to that place at the kotel to find that stone. And know, know that so long as you're angry at each other, you won't be able to see that stone. You can see that stone through which all our prayers are sent to heaven. You can only see that stone when you love one another. So he says to the Chosin Yitzchak, now that you're about to cover the Kala's face, and he will say, I want you to go with her right now to the kotel for 5 minutes, and to pray there forever. So it's just not like Shlomo did all these innovations at weddings, and usually like the chosin covers the Kala's face, and everybody's rushing. Okay, now let's go to the chuppah and so on. And I guess partly sometimes they're afraid that he might get cold feet, before the chuppah. But whatever the case, the doctor's laughing. And but what Reb Shlomo is basically saying is, what he's doing down here is he's having the chosin stand there for 5 minutes and meditate with his kala to actually be present at the kotel in their meditation, and he wants them to be in that space where, put yourself in that space where you're with your soulmate and you're so much in love, and even if you've had arguments, you go beyond the arguments and you're so much in love to the point that you can actually realize that your prayers are ascending to heaven. So, being that we're all praying for the welfare of these 3 boys who were kidnapped on Thursday night, so let's try to to be in that place of real Ahavat Yisrael, so that we can see that our prayers are really ascending to Shemayim, and that we should come home safely today. Mm-hmm. Okay, page 113. Hatalit, Hatochnit Hazugit. The how do you say Tochnit Zugit in dual purpose, or a dual program, or a program between the Chosin and the Kala? We're going to see where he's going with this. So, חברים מתוקים, אפשר להתחתן בגלל סיבות. People can get married for a reason, right? In other words, why are you getting married? You know, for you don't want to be lonely. You need a helpmate. You want, etc., etc. A lot of people get married for a reason, like it suits their purposes, right? So he says, אבל יש אנשים שמתחתנים ברמה אחרת. But then there are people who get married on a whole different level, רמה עמוקה ביותר, a very deep level, ברמה של אני לא יכול לחיות בלי בת הזוג שלי. On the level of, I can't live without my soulmate. Okay? And that sounds like a reason also, right? But it's beyond a reason. It's like, if I ask you, do you have a reason for breathing? Like, do you say, oh, I breathe because I need air, I want air? Or do you breathe because or would you say to me, what a stupid question. Of course I breathe. I can't live without breathing. Right? So it's on a different level. You understand? We spoke about this last week. Remember, Matzah Isha Matzah Tov, Motzei Ani et Isha Ma'ami Mavet, right? Are you loving somebody because they do something for you, or are you loving them because your mom is so connected, right? Are you getting married to this person because you just don't want to, you have some kind of reason for it, or are you doing this because, is there another book below? You see it? No? So then share it. Okay. Come and share it. Okay? Shalom. Okay, so there's a level of like this is your soulmate, right? Like I told you once that when I was a kid, more than half the kids were having their tonsils taken out. I don't know if you were born yet, doctor. But there was a time that all of a sudden, this is back in the 50s, I'm telling you, like every day he'd come to school, where's so-and-so? Oh, he's having his tonsils taken out. Where's so-and-so? He's having his tonsils taken out. And why was everyone having their tonsils taken out? Because somebody in the medical establishment decided that since we don't know what purpose the tonsils serve, right? So then, and since a lot of throat infections get, attach themselves to the tonsils, to get rid of the tonsils. Remember that period? Yeah, you have tonsils? You don't have tonsils? You were one of the victims? Anyway, it's like saying, well, since I don't know why I need my little toe, so you can step on it. Since I don't know why, I need my little toe, so I don't care if you take it away from me, just because I don't know why I need it. Some people will be totally ridiculous. What do you mean step on my toe? It's my toe, right? It's a different level of relationship. And this is what I'm saying. This is what he's saying is that there's a level of getting married because everybody else is doing it, because my parents want me to do it, because society expects it, because this, because that, because that. Beautiful, very nice reasons, it's good. But there's a level of getting married because you've met your soulmate, and how could you live without your soulmate? Right? Okay. So he says, Lamatem, we're the fourth line on 113. Lamatem rotzim yedadim. Why do you want children? Yesh ke'ele shomrim ze oseh roshem tov. Some say it's very nice to have children.
What is the word roshem?
Impression. And yesh omrim berama amuka yoter, and then there are those that answer on a much deeper level. Ulai haben sheli yavi et hagula. Maybe my child will bring the redemption. Right? So what happens now? Imenu Ruth amra leBoaz, our mother Ruth said to Boaz, because she natna lo et hatalit b'matana, and she gave him the talents as a gift. So Reb Shlomo says, what she was telling him was, Ani rotza she'ata tetaken et arba pinot ha'olam. I want you to fix the four corners of the world. Ani rotza להביא את המשיח. I want to bring Mashiach. אני רוצה לרומם את כל העולם. I want to lift, elevate the entire world. ציפורה נותנת ליצחק טלית, אני מקווה שזאת אותה טלית שנתנה רות לבועז. So as Tzipporah is giving the talis to her chosim, says Reb Shlomo, I'm hoping that this is the same talis that Ruth gave to Boaz. In other words, so first of all, take a look at what he's doing about talis. Right, yesterday we read in the parsha, the end of the parsha was about the mitzvah of tzitzis, the mitzvah of talit, right? Which is a very special mitzvah. And the Torah itself tells us why we're doing this mitzvah, right? So that when you see the tzitzit, right, it's supposed to, especially the blue thread, is supposed to remind you of God, and act as help us stay away from doing transgressions, right? Now, right, it says, "V'yitem oto," you'll see the blue thread, "V'zachartem et kol mitzvot Hashem," and you remember all the mitzvot of the Torah. How does seeing a ptil techelet, how does seeing the blue thread remind you of all the mitzvot of Hashem, right? So okay, so we know that, that sometimes you want to remember something, you tie a thread around your wrist or around your finger, etc., etc. So there's a number of different explanations that relate to this. For example, Rashi says that the mitzvah of tzitzit, so the word tzitzit numerically is equal to 600. Then you have the 5 knots that makes 605, and then you have the eight threads that makes 613. So so he's giving you like a way, a mnemonic type of way to remember that the mitzvah of tzitzit is to remind you, right, of all the mitzvot. Then the Ishbisser says like this. He says that it's like. Do you have any labels on your shirt? No, you're not. Who's wearing clothes with a label? I also don't, but Ralph Lauren, Mickey Moshe, etc. Whoever it is, right? It's like saying, this shirt is not just a shirt. It's got somebody's name on it, right? So for example, like when you rent a phone, when you rent a car, there's a sticker on it saying this car belongs to this company or whatever it is, right? So now in the olden days, people didn't wear the same clothes that we wear today. Basically, you wore a robe, right? And Jews walking around with strings attached to the robe is like saying, see, this guy, he belongs to God. Right? This is a Jewish garment, and this is what Jews put onto their garments, and it's a way of like sort of identifying your, it's an ID, so to speak, And all these explanations are good, and we can go further. For example, if you want to relate the mitzvah of tzitzit with what other mitzvah do you have in the Torah that have the mitzvah of tzitzit is to put the threads on the corners of your garment, right? What other mitzvah do you have in the Torah that relates to corners?
The field.
Right. Payah, right? So let's say this tabletop is your field, right? What's the rule? That the corner of your field, at least one corner, you have to leave that not cut. It's for the poor. It's your field, right? Okay. But a corner of your field has to be left uncut. The poor are allowed to come and take it, right? Okay. It belongs to them. It's not just that they're allowed to, but actually belongs to them, okay? Now, suppose, for example, so look at it this way. So the field is yours, right? It's my field. But at the corner of the field, the place where your field is meeting with the rest of society, the Torah is sort of saying that space is yours, but you gotta leave it uncut so that other people can have some benefit from it as well, right? Your talis is your territory. Your talis, the garment, is your canvas. Put any colors that you want on it, black, white, black, rainbow, whatever colors you want to put onto your canvas is fine, okay? But know that at the corners where your talis, where your territory, where your space meets with the space of the next person, those threads should be there, those strings should be there so that you remember that there's a way to connect with your neighbor. Okay? And so what Reb Shlomo said over here right now is that symbolically, the Kala giving the Chosin the talis. Okay, so the talis is a four-cornered garment, and on a deeper level, she's saying, here, it's not enough that we're fixing our relationship and our space that's just between you and me, but also we got to reach out to the four corners of the world and fix the four corners of the world as well. Now, what is Kol HaTorah Kula? Which mitzvah did Hillel say to the convert? This is the entire Torah. Which mitzvah? V'yahavta l'reacha kamocha. Right? In other words, the place where you, at the corner, where you connect with the rest of the world, the place where you connect with the next talis, with the next person, that's the place of the entire Torah. It's over there that it's the entire Torah is in the way we connect with each other, right? Understand? So if I'm doing a mitzvah by myself in my own territory, so to speak, I hope that we're doing it in the name of all of Israel. But that's not the area where that's not the entire Torah. The entire Torah has to be present in the way we connect with each other. The way we connect with each other, that's what the whole Torah is about. Okay? So Reb Shlomo continues 5 lines from the bottom. דעו לכם שריבונו של עולם בחר בכם לבוא לעולם הזה ולעשות בו מה שאתם צריכים לעשות. He says, know that God has chosen you guys to come to this world because there's something that you've got to be doing in the world. יש לו תוכניות נשגבות בשבילכם. And God has big plans for you. לאן שאתם צריכים ללכת. He has big plans about what you guys need to achieve. ישחק כשתתעטף בטלית, קח איתך את הילדים שלך מתחת לטלית. So he's telling the chassan as he's about to put on his talis, he says, take your future children with you and put them under the talis as well. ובכל פעם שאתה מתפלל, and whenever you're going to be praying, זכור את הרגע הזה, remember this moment. Remember this moment. Right? Basically, what he's saying is that that there's so many levels of consciousness. We have to be conscious people. We have to be conscious people it's like, we have so much tunnel vision. All we see in front of us is like what's right immediately in front of our face, But really expand your vision and see that there's so much more going on. There's so much happening. There's so much significance to every little thing, right? How's your book doing? Is making people smarter?
I hope so.
See, Alan put together a book of thinking puzzles to help and send, problem-solving things. And that's how problem-solving works also. This is what we're doing over here. We're saying that, stop just looking at it in the smallest confined way. You want to solve a problem, it's in your line of work also, right? You don't solve a problem by just using a microscope. You got to see the picture. You got to see the bigger picture, right? You're putting on a tallis, very nice. You're a religious Jew. You're putting on a tallis. You're putting on tzitzis, very nice. And I'm not taking away from that, right? God said, you're wearing a four-cornered garment. It has to have tzitzis. And then, if I'm not wearing a four-cornered garment, am I doing a sin? No, I'm not obligated because right now I'm not wearing the four-cornered garment, right? But if I'm wearing a four-cornered garment, I'm obligated. Okay, good. Mazel tov. But what's wearing a four-cornered garment all about? Why should you wear it in the first place? You understand? Why does God want us to do this mitzvah? What is Hashem trying to tell you through this mitzvah? Right? What kind of person does this mitzvah want you to become? Okay. You have to light Shabbos candles at a certain time on Friday. Good. You lit the candles, mazel tov, great. But why did you get a mitzvah to light Shabbos candles in the first place? Why? What is this mitzvah trying to teach you about what we're supposed to be doing in the world? Right? So everything has a very simple explanation, but everything also has a much deeper level to it as well. Okay. So that was the third wedding. Now I'm going to skip the next one and go to the fifth one. We'll come back to it because it's just that I noticed that the fifth one, I know these people. Page 127, the chuppah of Abraham and Eleonora. So let me tell you, I wasn't at the wedding, but I know a little bit about it. Abraham was one of the early refuseniks. You know what the refuseniks were? These were Jews in Russia, in communist Russia, who would go every day and apply for a visa to go to Israel, and they would be refused. And they would come back and they would apply again, and they would apply again. And he was one of the first Russian Jewish activists to get to Israel. And his last name escapes me right now. And Eleonora is also a Russian woman, a Jewish woman from Russia, and she was also very, very active. And Shlomo met them, and he heard they were getting married. So he said, let's make this into a really beautiful wedding. So the wedding took place on the beach in Tel Aviv, and he had the hotels, it was like late at night, he had the hotels light up the beach, with their big lights. And it became apparently, I don't know how it went into the news, how it got into the news or whatever it is, but the news heard about it, and I don't know how many people were there, I think thousands of people, showed up for this chuppah. Okay? Anyway, so page 128. Now, Reb Shlomo was very, very involved with Russian Jewry. And that whole song that he made, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, that was all related he made that up in communist Russia. It might have been in Czechoslovakia at the time, but that song came down to him in communist times. Did you know that? And that became became this sound of all the demonstrations for Soviet Jewry. Did you ever attend any of those demonstrations? Yeah. No? Huh?
Demonstrations with
yeah.
All these small bracelets.
Right. And what was on the bracelet? They were just
the name of a refusnik.
The name of a refusnik, yeah. Anyway, so that, and I think that Abraham is the one who told Shlomo, like, we need a song or something like that. But we'll see. So he says, Od Avinu Chai, Mazel Tov Rabbi Abraham, Chatan Kadosh, Mazel Tov Eleonora, Kala Kedosha, Mazel Tov Kol Beit Yisrael, Mazel Tov Ribono Shel Olam, Mazel Tov. So just picture the scene, like, he's got these big speakers there, they're on the beach in Tel Aviv, there's the media is there, thousands of people, and Reb Shlomo gets up and he says, Mazel Tov V'Lechosan and Bekale, Mazel Tov all of Israel, Mazel Tov God. Right? Yeshnam kol kach harbe nisim ba'olam. There are so many miracles in the world. By the way, their daughter, have you been to the House of Love and Prayer in Tzfat?
Mm-hmm.
That's their daughter, Mirale.
That's Mirale?
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. At the House of Love and Prayer in Tzfat. It's a little shul. Yeah. Okay? So that's their daughter. Okay. So he says, ישנם כל כך הרבה ניסים בעולם, אבל הערב הוא אחד הניסים הגדולים ביותר. There's many miracles in the world, but tonight is one of the greatest miracles. אברהם, לפני 10 שנים אם אדם היה אומר לרבי אברהם, בעוד 10 שנים תהיה לך חתונה על חוף הים בתל אביב. If somebody would have told you 10 years ago that in 10 years you're going to be getting married on the beach in Tel Aviv, לא היינו מאמינים לו. Nobody would believe him. אבל האמת היא שיש לנו בשמיים אבא אחד, יחיד ומיוחד, but the truth is we have one Father, single, unique in heaven, עוד אבינו חי. Our Father is still alive, right? And those were the lyrics of the song. You start, Od Avinu Chai, right? Od Avinu Chai, and then you go, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, right? And that was the song. God is still alive, and we're still alive, right?
The genesis of the song was from here. It wasn't from the Torah where Yosef asked
the brothers, right, but he combined it with Od Avinu Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Yes, you're right. That phrase is there. Okay? So, Chom Beli Gvulot.
Oh.
We just wanted to hear from you. So, Chom Beli Gvulot. Unlimited warmth. Rabbi Abraham ואליאנורה. אני רוצה לספר לכם סיפור. I want to tell you a story. This is a great story. Rabbi Yeva היה רבי גדול. There was this great Hasidic Rabbi Yeva. כלומר, ישר שעשה הכל נכון. He was a tzaddik, he did everything right. לעומת זאת, רבי זושה היה נשגב. But then there was a friend of his, the Rabbi Zusha, he was the highest. Okay? בחג הסוכות, רבי זושה בא לבקר את רבי יבה. So one Sukkot, Rabbi Zusha came to visit his friend Rabbi Yeva. כידוע, יהודים קדושים ישנים בסוכה. As you know, holy Jews, we have a mitzvah to sleep in the sukkah. אני לא צריך לומר לכם שבחג הסוכות ברוסיה מאוד קר. As you know, Sukkot's time in Russia can be very, very cold. הכין רבי יבה מיטה יפה לכבוד רבי זושה והטבע 5 שמיכות. Rabbi Yeva prepared a good bed for Rabbi Zusha with 5 blankets. And what happened? ואמר לו, רב זושה, יש לך מיטה יפה כדי לישון בסוכה, I prepared a nice bed for you so you can sleep in the sukkah. אמר לו רב זושה, רב זושה said, זושה רוצה לישון על הרצפה הקדושה של הסוכה. He says, Zusha wants to sleep on the holy floor of the sukkah. אמר לו רב יבא, יהיה לך מאוד קר, אתה עלול לקפוא. It'll be very cold, you can freeze. אמר לו רב זושה, אל תדאג, don't worry. רבי יבא נכנס למיטתו, רבי יבא got into his bed, ואפילו מכוסה ב5 שמיכות, even though he was covered with 5 blankets, הוא רעד מקור, and he's shivering from cold. Page 129, רבי זושה שכב על הרצפה, ואמר, רבי זושה is lying on the floor, and he says, ריבונו של עולם, קר לזושה. Zusha is cold. He used to speak about himself in third person. Mazel tov. Pitom hitmala hasukah b'chom. All of a sudden, this heat comes down into the sukkah. Rabbi Yehuda havid ma'alav smicha achad. Rabbi Yehuda takes up one of his blankets. ואז רבי זושה אומר, ריבונו של עולם עדיין קר לזושה. God, Zusha is still cold. נהיה חם יותר, it got hotter, ורבי יהודה הוריד מעליו שמיכה נוספת, רבי יהודה throws out another blanket. הדבר חזר על עצמו, this repeated itself, ורבי יהודה הוריד עוד שמיכה, he takes out the next blanket, בסופו של דבר היה כל כך חם, שרבי יהודה שכב בלי שמיכות, it got so hot in the sukkah that רבי יהודה is lying there without blankets. ואז רבי זושה אומר, and רבי זושה says, ריבונו של עולם, זושה רוצה סוכה חמה, Master of the world, Zusha wants a warm sukkah. כבר הייתה סאנה בסוכה, it was already a sauna in the sukkah. רבי יהודה שוכב שם מזיע, רבי יהודה is lying there and he's sweating. סוף סוף אומר רבי יהודה, זושה תפסיק, בקצב הזה תסחוף את כל הסוכה. זושה, stop, at this rate you're going to burn the whole sukkah down. Okay.
Isn't that for a story?
Huh?
It's an actual story, or it is about to teach something?
Both.
They're all real stories.
Reb Shlomo was such a gadol that he could...
Reb Shlomo is an amazing person, yes. Okay? Now, so he says, Rabbi Avraham, okay, that's the story, right? And Reb Shlomo. So what do you mean Zusha was still cold? Why was he still cold? You know, it was already so warm, right? Rabbi Yehuda was sweating. He basically was praying to God, the world is cold. People are cold. Enough of this. Right? Some shuls you don't need air conditioning, the people themselves make it cold. Right? Some shuls are so hot, air conditioning doesn't help. Right? Okay? So Reb Shlomo, she wanted a warm world. He wanted a world that is going to be like, you know, really warm. Like, you know, that you walk into a place and you feel, like we learned the other week, you know, how do you know there's a house, how do you know that people are living in a house you can see from the furniture? How do you know if God is in the world? From the love that's between us. Okay? So Rabbi Abraham, Meti Shata Haita B'Sibir. Now this way Abraham, he had been sent out to Siberia. Amar, and you said, Ribono shel olam kar Abraham. And you must have told God, Abraham was cold. And it got warmer and warmer. אמרת ריבונו של עולם, אברהם רוצה ללכת לארץ ישראל, לארץ הקדושה. You said, Master of the world, Abraham wants to go to Israel, to the Holy Land. לא הפסקת, you didn't stop. And you came to Israel, but you didn't stop your prayers. By the way, he was considerably older than his color. He wasn't a young man at his wedding. And they had 2 children, Gabi and Mirale. So Vamarta, and you said, Ribono shel olam, Avraham רוצה להתחתן. And you said, Master of the world, Abraham wants to get married. And Yomer Lecha, says Reb Shlomo, he says to him, I'm telling you, Rabbi Abraham, Al tafsik, don't stop. Tamar leborei olam Abraham, רוצה ילדים, tell God that you want to have children. Tamar leborei olam Abraham, רוצה shalom b'chol haolam. Tell God that you want children, tell God that you want to see peace in the world. Al takshiv the Rabbi Yehuda shamar lafsik. Don't listen to Rabbi Yehuda who told Reb Zusha to stop. Alaf she Rabbi Yehuda who Rabbi Kadosh, even though Rabbi Yehuda was a holy rabbi, don't listen to anybody that tells you to stop. Tamshich levakesh meborei olam, continue making requests from the Creator of the world. V'tamshich la'asot kemo she'asita ad achshav, and continue doing it like you did until now. Baruch Hashem, sof sof ishtecha omedet v'tzitcha. Finally, your wife is standing next to you. V'zeh hazman lomer leborei olam, and now is the time to pray to God. She'yavir et HaMashiach, to bring Mashiach. Al tafsik levakesh, don't stop asking. Right? You hear what he's saying? In other words, when you pray for something and you get it, don't stop. Ask for the next thing. Holy chutzpah, right? Holy chutzpah. Keep on making demands. You know, in 2 weeks it's going to be the yahrzeit of the 20th yahrzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Believe it or not, it's already 20 years. Huh?
I'll be there.
You'll be there? Yeah. And, you know, and like when he started this thing, we want Mashiach now. Okay? What he was telling the world was, okay, of course, we all believe that Mashiach is going to come. Right? אני מאמין באמונה שלמה ואף על פי שיתמא אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא, right? But what the Rebbe wanted is that we should demand the arrival of Mashiach. Right? It's like, yeah, we hope that Mashiach is going to come. You know, especially like when we're in a situation like we're in right now with these 3 boys in captivity, and I hope they're well, right? It's like everybody's saying, okay, God, like, you know, when's all this going to be over? Like, you know, like send Mashiach already, right? But that's one level of wanting Mashiach. There's a whole other level. You know, it's like just like we read today at the beginning of the lesson, and he says to the chosim in the college, yeah, there are people who get married for a reason. So you want Mashiach to come because we don't want all these problems anymore. It's good. Like at least, thank God, we don't, you know, we want to see an end to the problems. But there's a much deeper level of wanting Mashiach, and that is, if I can put it into a few words, and that is, we want to be living on this highest level of life that we know is going to be possible when Mashiach comes. Right? We want to get there already. We want the world to already be that place. Understand? So it's like the comparison. I'm getting married to you because I need you. I have a reason why I need you. Okay? So I want to get married because I need somebody that's going to, you know, I can't go to work and take care of the house and take care of this and take care of that. I need a partner in life to help me through life, right? Okay, that's very nice. But the other level, I want to get married because I want to be the highest person that I can be, and do all the beautiful things that I want, that I believe that I'm supposed to and want to do in the world, and I need to be in union with my soulmate to achieve this. Okay. So And I know that every step that we're going to take together is going to be more responsibility. But I'm not worried about the responsibility. On the contrary, I want the responsibility. I want to do all those things. I want to do those things that we need to do in the world, right? We want Mashiach, not just because we're already tired of all the problems that we're having to do, that we're having to deal with, but we want Mashiach already because we want to start living on that level of consciousness and interaction with each other where like, we don't have to fight to make a living. Everyone's going to be making a living. There won't be poverty. So it's not going to be this game of the haves and the haves not. It's going to be about everybody having the opportunity to be the most beautiful person that they can be. Okay. So what Reb Shlomo is saying to the Chosim and the Kaleh, what happens with us most of the time is we pray for something that we want, and then when we get it, we stop praying because you got what you wanted, right? So now listen to this story. This chassid comes to the Alter Rebbe, and he was in business, and things took a turn for the bad. And he comes to the Alter Rebbe and he's telling him, I need this, and I need this, and I need this, etc. So the Alter Rebbe is listening to him, and finally he puts his, sometimes he would do this, he puts his head on the table on his arm, and he was quiet for a few moments, and he says to the chassid, you're so busy telling me what you need, did you ever stop to think about what are you needed for? You're telling me what you need from God. Did you think about what does God need you for? Right? Like he blew him away. Understand? And like the guy, that his life changed in that moment, right? But the point is, okay, so I prayed because I need this. I prayed because I need that. But maybe, if we would think about what does Hashem need us for, maybe we would pray for more than what we prayed for just for our own personal needs. Right? Maybe every time that we're feeling a need for something, besides praying for that which we need, Hashem is sort of like saying that He needs us to pray for even more, to bring down more good into the world. Not just for what I personally need. Right? So we learned this a while ago, and the story is in the Talmud that Rabbi Shlomo Kohen Gadol related that one year on Yom Kippur, as he was leaving the Holy of Holies, a Kasriel HaMalach, which is another manifestation of the Shekhinah, as he's about to leave the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies, the Shekhinah says to him, Yishmael b'ni barcheni, my son Yishmael, give me a blessing. So he turns around and he gives a blessing. And what's the blessing that he gives? That your compassion should overcome your anger. In other words, you should be more patient with everybody. And the Shekhinah nods, like saying Amen. And that's an amazing story. First of all, what does it mean that God is asking the human being for a blessing? And secondly, and what is the blessing that this human being is giving God? Giving God a blessing not to be so angry. And when he gets angry, his compassion should overcome his anger. Right? It's amazing. So what's pshat? So the Ishbitzer explains that basically the relationship that Hashem set up with us is the following. Hashem says, I want to do all these good things. I want people to be healthy. I want people to make a living. I want people to live in a righteous, honest life, etc., etc. But I'm giving you a role in how I'm going to manifest in the world. In other words, you can make me manifest more or less. So when you say, Rafa'inu Hashem b'nei Rafei, Hashem, heal us, right? You are arousing me to heal. That's the relationship that Hashem gave us. When you pray for livelihood, that's the Hashem is saying, you are arousing me to provide nourishment and life energy to the world. It sounds, I don't know what it sounds like, but that's the relationship that Hashem set up with us. That's the meaning of that story where the Shekhinah says, Ishmael b'ni barcheni, give me a blessing. In other words, the word Baruch, by the way, has two meanings, right? It comes from the word berech, which means a knee, and also brecha, a pool, a collection pool, like a swimming pool. You collect water in it, right? So the idea of Baruch and brecha is that you're creating the vessel for the divine flow to come into the world. You're opening up the vessel so that the flow can come down. That's the idea. Huh? So when you bend the knee, right? And so it's the humility. Yeah. Okay.
What's the other one that you said?
Baruch, berech is a knee and brecha is a pool. Okay. And this is the relationship that Hashem set up with us. Hashem set up this relationship with us that we should be able to bring down the divine flow. Sometimes Hashem wants certain people to bring down something exceptional. So He doesn't give it to them for a long time, because that exceptional thing that needs to come into the world requires a lot of prayers to come into the world. And what distinguishes the really holy people is that they never give up. They don't give up praying. Can you imagine Sarah Imenu, right? She's already, how old was she? 90. Imagine she's 89 years old and she's still praying for that son. And Abraham is already almost 100 and he's praying for that child. Right? So they never had any doubts that God can give them the child. But the amazing thing is that they didn't stop asking for it.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, isn't it that whatever is gonna, like everything is already pre-set in a way? So if that's the case, how prayer can change that?
And the answer to that is that the question that you're asking is if God knows everything in advance, right?
Yeah.
And everything is predetermined. But from the Torah we learn that still God created this situation where He gives us the opportunity to make changes.
But whatever is going to happen is already...
You're not going to get out of that philosophical dilemma.
Okay.
Understand? In other words, from the human perspective, if you have two choices, and one plate has something good and beautiful, the other one has just some sand, right? And I say choose which one you want, it's not really a free choice. Because of course you're going to choose that which is good, right? So knowing that you're going to choose that which is good is already basically saying in this matter you don't have free choice. Okay? But in terms of what between us and God, see, our system of knowledge is such that if you know something, then it has to be that way. Okay? If you know that I'm going to choose this, then it has to be that way. Otherwise, you don't know that I'm going to choose this, right? But God's system of knowledge is a totally different system of knowledge than ours. It's not the human knowledge, and it's not confined by the rules of human intelligence. So God could know something and at the same time still give us free choice. Now, does it make sense from a human perspective? No. But from a divine perspective, it makes sense. Or it could make sense. We don't, not that because we don't understand it.
Okay, and that's the case. The second question is, sometimes, okay, let's say you believe that, then we pray, but sometimes, in my case, I don't know, that's happened to me, I get like anxious. So sometimes I stop praying for something when I don't get it for a long time because I get too anxious, and then like I prefer not to even think about it.
Yeah.
So how's the right thing of like praying, but at the same time leave it in like, the hands of God?
So when we pray for something, one chassid once told me that when you pray for something, you should end up the prayer with saying, Hashem, I want this, but I only want it if you want me to have it. You know? But there are people who they have the strength and the courage to keep on praying and not stop. And then there are those of us who, we give up too early. I've had it happen many times and I already, I'm praying for something, and then I give up, and then 5 minutes later I get what I was praying for, and then I feel like a total idiot. Like, why did I give up? And I've promised Hashem that the next time you're going to challenge me, I'm not going to give up. And you know the continuation of the story, right? We keep on making the same mistakes. And like literally, there were times that I felt like, if I would have waited another minute, why did I stop? Why did I give up? But the difference that it makes is that I gave up. It's not that I got it. It's that I felt like I lost trust that Hashem was listening.
But Hashem, by giving it to you, saying I was listening.
Right. So I promised Hashem that the next time I would feel challenged, I wouldn't give up. But we're human. And Yisrael didn't go on vacation. Anyway, yeah.
But isn't there a time when we ask for things with our whole heart and our whole soul, and we don't get it?
Yeah.
A year later, it actually happened to me. Years later, you realize you shouldn't have gotten it in the first place.
That it wouldn't have been good for you. That's right.
Because they're the same. People should be careful what they wish for.
What they ask for, there's no
And
question.
they get it.
And that's why I said that this you told me once, when you pray for something, you should end the prayer with saying, Hashem, I want it, but only if you want me to have it, if you believe that it's good for me. So let's end up with a prayer that we should, that Hashem should answer the prayers of all of Israel, and that Eyal and Gilad and Yaakov, they should come home quickly today in good health.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Gotta start it. Let's start it right. Let's start it right first. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai.
Say that whatever we try.
Father's Day back in the States. So,
Father's Day in the States?
so,
Okay.